Hello everybody, is this thing on? Does this work anymore? Thanks for tuning into the video. James Cards FC here for a long overdue Fireside chat. I know I missed the last few months of putting together this podcast of sorts, but I wanted to go ahead and do one this month for a few different reasons. One, I have more time to do it now that I'm not traveling or doing anything like that, so I wanted to take a minute to put it together. And also, I haven't put out content in a while. I think I put out maybe one or two videos in all of January, so I definitely wanted to make sure I went ahead and got you guys some more content. I've had a few people reach out to me in DMs asking what's going on, and so I wanted to go ahead and do a little update video, not just on the market, but on myself as well. And so I'll go ahead and start with the list of topics that we have there on the bottom of the screen. If you're not watching, no need to turn it on. There is nothing going on here in the background. There will be no charts. There will be no graphs. There will just be myself and this one page that we have right here. So I'll go ahead and start with the first topic, which is creator's block. And so I don't know if this phrase is used too much abroad as it is in America, but basically we have this thing called writer's block where a writer will be working on a piece and they just can't seem to finish it, and they'll go back and start it, but they just can't finish it. They have something they want to write, but they just can't figure out how to word it, and so they end up getting stuck for months or weeks or years or however long the writer's block goes on for. And that's really how I feel right now in terms of being a creator. I have this video that I've pretty much been working on since I put out my last one, which was the year in review video. I've been trying to put together a video on the history of the soccer card market through all the different phases that we've seen, trying to highlight all the key stories so that if somebody wasn't here for all the different key things that happened over the past few years, they could refer to this and really understand what was going on during all these different points in time. And so I've been working on that for a while, and every time I get back to it, I just can't quite finish it because I can't quite figure out how I want to wrap it all together and what all I want to say in this piece. And so that's why there haven't been any new videos out yet, is because I'm working on this really long one, or this really hard one, at least in my opinion, that I've been doing, and I just can't quite figure out how to get through it. But I promise that I will eventually get through it, probably sometime here in the next week or so. I will try and get through this video that has been putting me on block for these past few weeks, but we will get through it. I'm still very, very heavily in the market. If you follow me on Instagram, I'll usually post there a lot than I post on YouTube. I try and post every week or so, sometimes even more than that on Instagram with what I'm doing in the market, sort of like what I'm buying, what I got back from PSA, just those basic things, nothing too structured or content-based, just sort of, hey, I'm still in this market and doing these things. So if you want to follow more specifically the things I do there, feel free to do so. But yeah, no YouTube content currently, but something is definitely in the works. It is on this exact presentation that this slide is at right here. So I will get back to that, and I promise the video will be out at some point. And when it is out, I anticipate it being probably one of the best ones on my channel and one of the most important ones on my channel. And so because of that, I want to make sure I get it right. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the market in general and the post-World Cup lull that we're currently in. Another reason that it's hard to make videos right now, at least in my opinion, is there's just not a lot going on in the market. We're not crashing. We're not going to the moon. Everything's sort of settled after the World Cup. Obviously, we had Messi win, and despite that, his prices have pretty much flatlined since where they were at post the World Cup. Prices really dipped during the World Cup. There was like a 30% drop across the board for soccer cards, and then Messi got a little bump at the end that brought him back to kind of where he was before the World Cup started. But for a lot of players, we're still in this lull period. And another factor of that is Champions League has been so far gone. The Bundesliga just recently started back up, but there's just not a lot of excitement, I think, in the sport right now for different teams or players. It's just been, we had this huge moment in the World Cup, and now we're sort of trying to figure out where this sport and market goes next. And so we're kind of in this lull period. People don't really know what they're doing. Obviously, we have all the macroeconomic stuff going on. The war continues in Ukraine. The economic outlook in the United States as well as overseas is not looking too great over this next time horizon that we see right now. So just a lot of hesitation on the market, a big lull, not much excitement, and so it's kind of hard to make content when there's not a lot of things that appear to be going on, but that's where the more educational content sort of comes into play. But yeah, overall, our market's really in this low period. We have guys that pop up every week or so. I put this Mitoma rookie on the front of the slide because he's probably one of the most talked about players in terms of guys that are really spiking right now, not just in our market, but in soccer in general. You had Madric's transfer to Chelsea, although he really doesn't have any cards, so can't really do much with that. You have Enzo Fernandez maybe going to Chelsea, but again, he really doesn't have that many cards and not really many mainstream cards. There's just not a lot you can do with these sort of things going on, even if you wanted to try and get in on some of this hype. So yeah, just not a lot going on. Hopefully when the Champions League comes around, we do get some of that excitement. We have some teams advance. We have some players have standout performances, and that sort of kickstarts things back into a normal flow where you have prices going up and down, whereas right now it just feels like nothing is happening. So something to look forward to, hopefully, over these next few weeks as the Champions League starts up again, I believe in mid-February. So moving past that, I wanted to take a second to talk about Topps and Panini. I have no idea what's going on there. They have not released a product schedule for the meaningful product that comes out this year, like at all. We don't know when Topps Chrome or Topps Chrome Sapphire is coming out. We don't even know when Topps Paper is coming out for this season that passed. So like Mudryk, for example, is a great example of a guy that should already have Topps and Topps Chrome cards out because he's a 2022 rookie player, but he probably won't have those Topps or Topps Chrome cards until late 2023 when that season is very far gone. He'll be in a Shakhtar kit when he's being played for Chelsea, probably for almost a year at that point. It's just ridiculous. I know there's global supply chain issues, or at least there were global supply chain issues, so maybe that's something in play with it, but there's no release schedule for any big Topps products coming out. Panini, whether they're being bought out by Fanatics or not, they just don't seem to have a lot of product that they're trying to push out right now. We haven't had a new product come out for soccer that is meaningful since World Cup Prism in November, and so it's been a while. Usually we get a product every month that drops and it's a big deal, but we just don't have anything now, and we don't really have anything coming in the future. I think Select and Donruss are supposed to come out for Panini in March, which is another 2 months away, unless, of course, they delay those again. So this goes into the World Cup lull as well, where there's just no new product to chase, and there's no new players to chase, and so the market's just sort of on hold at this point. And so until Topps and Panini can release impactful product with key rookies and guys that we don't have yet so far, I don't really know what is going to sort of kickstart more people getting involved in this. I mean, I personally have wanted to buy Topps Chrome Mudryk cards since early 2022, and he just doesn't have any. And now I'm going to have to wait until probably this upcoming winter to finally get a Topps Chrome Shakhtar Mudryk card, which is just insane in my opinion. But that's just how it goes with our current delay schedule. So unfortunate, but hopefully as we move towards into March and then we get into summer, we have some more product coming out from these companies, and that'll get things kickstarted, not just on the new product end, but bring some more excitement to the market overall as well. So it's all a giant ecosystem, cards in general. You need the new product flowing to bring in new people and have new money spent and new players for people to speculate on, and it all creates a big cycle. And so when parts of that cycle get interrupted, things just sort of get on hold or gradually decrease as they have been for soccer. And so really looking forward to eventually when we do get that new product, because it is definitely needed to bring some excitement to the market again. While we're on the subject of the market, I know I haven't been posting much content, but I've been buying like really heavy recently. I'm not on eBay, so to speak. I've been buying more in China and more in Japan because I think those markets are better to buy raw cards personally, and that's what I like to buy. I like to raw to grade. This has been covered a bunch of different times in this channel, but yeah, I've been buying really heavy. I've probably been buying more in the first month of January that I've bought in any month since maybe the pandemic. I just really like where prices are at right now for a bunch of different key players. I think if you look at Chinese or Japanese markets as opposed to the American markets, they're a place to be made. For example, this Matoma rookie right here, I bought 4 of them over the weekend for what I thought were really reasonable prices because this rookie card does come from Japan. So if you go to the Japanese markets, you can find them a lot easier than you can if you look in the American markets. So that's just an example, but I'm not just buying Matoma. I've been buying really obvious stuff. I'm buying Messi, I'm buying Ronaldo, I'm buying Neymar, I'm buying U.S. men's national team players, I'm buying key sets, just super obvious stuff, and I think you can find a lot of it at reasonable entry points right now. I don't think the market is overheated on these cards like they used to be, and so I have no problem picking them up at their current prices, grading them with PSA, and then figuring out how that goes and possibly putting some of them back on the market once they've been graded. But yeah, me personally, I'm buying heavy, especially in comparison to what I was buying in 2022. Whether that continues through 2023, I'm not sure. It's just right now, at least in my opinion, I'm finding a lot of stuff in the ranges and the sets and the players that I like at price points that I like. And PSA has gotten really, really fast recently. So for example, bulk submissions, depending on what it is, if it's a super easy card for them to identify, they don't have to do any research, and you don't get stuck in a queue with a lot of researched cards, they can turn around a bulk submission in a month. I know some people have gotten bulk submissions back in 3 weeks. I myself have a few that are currently in either grading or QA that have been there a few weeks, so hopefully I get those back soon. But if PSA is able to turn cards around at a $19 level and probably in the future at a $15 level in a month's time, I think that's huge and definitely reinforces my thoughts on buying right now, because those return times are just really, really good right now. And so I look forward to PSA not only getting cheaper, but if they're going to stay as fast as they are, I think it makes all the sense in the world right now to be buying raw, obvious things and grading with them and trying to get that flywheel going. If you want to watch content specifically about that, my friend Soccer Card Corner has a great channel where he covers exactly the moves he's making in the market, buying raw, grading, profit margins, all that kind of stuff. I would definitely encourage checking out his channel for soccer. And then if you don't follow Tyler Short, I think his name is, Short Slabs, he does more baseball, basketball, football, but he takes you through his entire raw to grade process, shows you all his spreadsheets, and all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in the financial side of raw to grade, definitely check out those two channels, because they do it way better than I have ever tried to do. But perhaps that's something I would do more in the future, is try and show you guys exactly what I'm buying. See, here's the thing though. I don't really want to show you guys exactly what I'm buying, because I don't want to influence the market in any sort of way. I know it's silly for me to say with my super small channel of 1,000 subscribers that I can move the market on things, but I don't want to have that sort of associated with me in terms of like, oh, I'm trying to pump this one card that I bought that I'm going to grade and then I'm going to sell. I don't like sort of getting hung up on that. So maybe it's something where I buy raw, I grade, I sell, and then I finally show everything. I'm not sure how I would structure it, but I just really don't want to get into the whole pumping and dumping side of the market. So I want to be transparent, but I don't want to be so transparent that people buy specifically what I'm trying to buy, or people think I'm pumping and dumping certain cards. And so it's tough, but perhaps I can start to try and show more of what I'm buying and selling, because I don't do very much of it. I'll do a mail day video every now and then to show you guys what I got back from PSA. I do a submission readiness mail day sort of thing where I send things out to PSA, but I really don't do formal tracking of everything that I do. So for example, I've shown you guys probably, I think, one full submission from packaging to sending to PSA and getting back the results. I think I've shown one of those, the complete process, for on this channel, but even after that, I've sent 4 or 5 more submissions through to PSA and just not said anything about it, because like I said, don't really want to be showing off the cards that I'm buying for a multitude of different reasons, and don't really want to influence what other people are trying to buy. So yeah, this is a tangent, but I think it's really messy to sort of get in that kind of stuff. But perhaps it's something I could focus more on in the future if it's something people are interested in my whole raw to grade process and what I do. So something to think about maybe for content as we go forward. And I'll go ahead and wrap up that section right there with that really long tangent about buying raw to grade. Last segment here, I want to talk about stop the vaults. This is something that continues to get on my nerves. We have so many vaults and so many auction platforms in this market, and it's just fragmenting things and making it even harder for a new person coming into the market, or even myself who has been in this market forever. Well, I wouldn't say forever, but for the past like 3 or 4 years, I've been in this market daily. And now there's just so many different auction platforms, so many vaults. In order for me to look through everything, to see every auction and every card for sale, it is a full-time job to be able to do that. And I think it's ridiculous that these companies think people are able to put full-time hours into this. When back during the pandemic, literally everything was on eBay. PWCC was on eBay. You had Golden doing super high-end stuff, but the average consumer wasn't really caring about what was going on in Golden. Everything was on eBay. There was no alt. PWCC was selling on eBay. Golden didn't have a low-end weekly auction vault format. So all the comps were on eBay. Everything was on eBay. You had a one-stop shop. If you wanted to get creative and go to the foreign eBay sites, or you wanted to go to the Japanese or the Chinese markets, you had to do a little more digging to do that. But If you wanted to see all the cards that were available in the United States or the normal market, at least in my opinion, the normal market, you would just head to eBay and it was all there. And now, in order for you to participate in the market, you have to check eBay, PWCC, Alt, Golden. I'm sure I'm missing a few different weekly auction formats and vaults, but it's just too much in my opinion. It's so fragmented. It makes it really hard to keep up with, and it's really a turnoff to not just new entrants who probably have no idea that all these different vaults exist, but people like myself that just want to spend time in this market, but I can't really spend a full-time job amount of time in this market to analyze everything that's out there and every card and every vault and every auction. And so it just gets frustrating. And so I really hope that at some point through 2023, these vaults start buying each other out. I would love if I don't really care who it is. If PSA buys everybody out and we have the golden vault and that is the one vault that everybody uses, maybe you also have an eBay vault because eBay and PSA don't seem to be wanting to combine forces. They want to compete with each other, but we need 1 or 2 vaults and 1 or 2 marketplaces, and that's it. Having 5 to 10, I didn't even mention My Slabs. My Slabs is another one, but we don't need 5 to 10 marketplaces just for the United States. We need 1, maybe 2, 1 or 2 vaults, and make it way easier for everybody to see all the cards that are out there and able to transact with in all the auctions. Having so many things so fragmented just creates so much friction in this market, and it's super frustrating for myself. And and if it is super frustrating for myself, I can't imagine how frustrating it is for somebody that comes to the market and is just trying to figure out what the heck is going on here and all the different resources they have to turn to. So that's my little rant on vaults. I'm very frustrated with them, but I hope by the end of the year, a lot of them get combined into one big vault. And so we don't have to deal with all this craziness of checking 10 different auction sites just to figure out if there's a Ronaldinho card that I'm missing that I need for my collection. I think it's ridiculous that I have to do that. Maybe we get some sort of a website that allows you to search across all 10 of them at once. That would be great. Or, if everybody just combined so we had one market, that would be great. But in its current form, it is just too frustrating. But with that frustration leads to opportunity. If you do have the time to go through all the different markets, you're definitely going to find things that fall through the cracks that are underpriced or end up going for under comps because there's just way too much out there for everybody to monitor. So maybe that's an opportunity out there for you. If you want to put in the work, I guarantee you, if you check through all the different auction platforms, you will find things that run under comps because there's just too much work that is involved for the average person to go through all these different auction sites, to look through all these different comps, to find all these different cards. So that's an opportunity that's out there for you. While there's so much friction, if you want to put in the time, I guarantee you can find things that are selling under comps because people just aren't looking at everything and don't have the ability to look through everything. So with all that being said, rant over. We need less vaults. We need less platforms. We need a more organized market. So all that out of the way, I thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. This was the Fireside chat for January of 2023. Hopefully I will be with you again in February 2023 with some more videos on the way. Like I said, I've been working on one for a really long time that I can't quite figure out how I want to finish and wrap up, but hopefully that'll be out soon. Like I said, I've been buying heavy. Maybe I'll show some of what I've been buying, but again, I really struggle with how much I should be showing what I'm buying and grading and that whole sort of thing. So I'll try and come up with a way to get more content on that side of the market, at least for myself. And hopefully the Champions League will give us some more things to talk about in the market when it comes to players' prices increasing and decreasing and that whole fun thing that makes the market wheels turn. But yeah. Like I said, thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I think my Instagram link is down below. If you're looking for more consistent content, I post on there a lot more. I try to answer through all my DMs, but there are times that I don't see certain DMs or stuff like that and I don't get to them. But if you do reach out, I do tend to be able to comment. So all that being said, thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.